Hello everyone, welcome back to another book review. I haven't finished Akamath, unfortunately. I am only just halfway through, so we're going to be talking about some other books today instead. We are going to put that to one side. I haven't got notes for this video because I was obviously planning on making a Akamath video. As you can see over there, the little boy is sat waiting. I'm really loving Akamath. Obviously I'll do a review when I've managed to finish reading it. I'm really loving it. I think I'm just putting too much pressure on myself to read. I think I was putting myself like 80 pages a day to read, and then I get really backtracked so that when I do come to reading the book, I've got like this amount of the book to finish, and I'm like, so that's down to me. But I think that book needs to take more than a week to finish. I'm enjoying it and I don't want to rush it just to finish it in a week and then post a review about it, so I thought I'll do a review on the different books instead. I'm going to be talking about the Laurie Gilmore, apologies, series. I've read 2 of the 3 books that are currently out, in the UK anyway. There's the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Christmas Tree Farm. The book that I was going to read, and I probably will still read alongside Akamath, is The Cinnamon Bookstore. So this is the book that's in between the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Christmas Tree Farm, but I just haven't got around to it. I was hoping to read it in about March time, but I just really like the books, so I just want to talk about them today. So I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe first, because this was the first book that came out in the series and it was really popular all over TikTok, and I thought, why not give it a go? BookTok is, it's an interesting place, especially at the moment, if you know what's going on at the moment, with spicy books in particular. So Laurie Gilmore series is like a Hallmark kind of vibe, but it also has some very spicy scenes, which I noticed as well. It's not in the Christmas Tree Farm one, but on the back it does have a little tag here saying it's a spicy book, because it does look quite appealing. And young adults might want to read this. So young adults can't read it, but you know what I mean, like, teenagers might look at it, like young teenagers maybe, and it's important to obviously say that it's got adult content in the books. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and I have with the other book as well, so I feel like I'm really going to enjoy the series, however long the books go on for. I know that there's 2 more definitely coming out. I think there's a gingerbread one, and then there's the strawberry patch one, which is like a summery vibe, which I'm excited for. But yeah, so I read this one first, and I honestly blasted through it. It was really quick to read because of how simple the world building is, and how easy the characters are to follow along, and they're quite likable. With this one we have Janie and Logan. Now Janie's moved into Dream Harbour, which is kind of the theme that's going on. I think with the second book it's the people who are currently in the town, but the Christmas Tree Farm and this one are people who have moved into the town, and then the other love interest is in the town also. So this has got lore on like everybody else, but it's mostly centered on 2 characters, and I'm pretty sure they're shifting perspectives, which if you've seen my other review, Fathom Folk, you know that I love shifting perspectives. So it shows you Janie's side and it shows you Logan's side. Same with Christmas Tree Farm. It has 2 different shifting perspectives, so you get insights into what they're feeling, which I really enjoy, because as I said before on the other video and my other videos, you get the insights of other characters, and it's more interesting that way to see the people and see the characters, what they're feeling and what their thoughts are, instead of just a one-sided, with this, because obviously it's quite, they're literally strangers to lovers by the end of it, which again, another trope I love, strangers to lovers. Not really a fan of enemies to lovers. We'll get into that. I'll quickly talk about why I don't like enemies to lovers. I'm just not a fan of enemies to lovers, you know what I mean? If you love enemies to lovers, then great for you. I like it. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I prefer strangers to lovers or friends to lovers. I'm not really a fan of enemies to lovers. I feel like it's done a lot, like in books. Like, it's done a lot. You get it. You can literally pick up probably any book on a shelf, and at least 5 of them will be enemies to lovers. It's a big trope, but it's a big, a lot of people do like enemies to lovers. I'm personally just not a fan. I just don't really. It's all like, oh, I love. I tell you what, I do love lovers to enemies. that's just the best. You know what I mean? You have like these two lovely characters who are in love, and then later on down the line something happens, or like, you know, like a big political thing happens, or something in the world changes, and all of a sudden they're enemies and they're like at each other's throats, but they still love each other. You can, like, you know, with the writing you can tell that they still love each other at heart. Oh, love. I love the change of perspectives, because you know, they obviously start from not knowing each other at all to them being, you know, together. So it's nice to see the different perspectives of how they actually view each other, instead of being like, yeah, 300 pages down the line and like, you know, he's mine, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, did he actually like you? Like, what was going through his head? But we get those thoughts with this, which I really, really love. Talking about lovey-dovey stuff, and just nice, wholesome, I say wholesome love stories with a little bit of spice. I say a little bit of spice, it's got a lot of spice in it. Especially the Christmas Tree Farm one that I read. The Christmas Tree Farm definitely has some spicy scenes in it. You can see the progression in Laurie's writing as well, especially, obviously I don't know many books that they've written before, but through the Dream Harbour series, you can tell just by reading the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Christmas Tree Farm, the progression in the writing. We have some text message scenes between Janie and her brother, Logan, which again is in the Christmas Tree Farm. It's all connected. Oh, I love it. But yeah, so we have some text message scenes, and it's just kind of written in like marks and stuff, but in the Christmas Tree Farm it's actually written in bubbles, like text message bubbles, and I kind of like that. I like the different styles of like portraying words, because, you know, we all just read the same thing, but when it's done like in a bit of a better way. Let me try and show you an example. As you can see, the little text bubbles, and I love reading different like kind of formats of words. You know, we all read the same thing, but when it, you know, it's like little bubbles on a screen. Bubbles on a screen? I'm not Kindle. It's like little text message bubbles on the actual pages. It made it more, you know, intriguing to read. Don't get me wrong, I was hooked to this. Like, I was absolutely hooked to these two books. When I read them, I was like, you know, reading, and I didn't lose interest at any particular points. I think I liked the Pumpkin Spice Cafe more than the Christmas Tree Farm one, just because the main character kind of like annoyed me a little bit. But again, you're making different characters, again, and not annoying as in like I actually hate this character and I physically cannot stand them. It's like some scenes, like her whole point of her character is that she was from a privileged family and she wants to do everything herself and not rely on anybody for help. So when Bennett tries to come help her, she's like keeps pushing him away and is like, no, I need to do this by myself, I don't want any help. But she doesn't just do it because like he's a love interest, she does it to loads of people as well, like even people in the town. Like, she gets to the town and isolates herself, and you know, it's her character, and it's good because in the story, she at the end, she opens up and she makes new friends and she becomes less of an introvert, more of an extrovert, and just kind of accepts help from people. So it's character development, but I just couldn't stand it at the start. I was like, girl, just help, just have the help, you know what I mean, have the help. But again, not a criticism on the actual character herself, more, you know, like the emotions you feel reading the book. It's I'm trying to think of a word, but I can't think of a word. But yeah, more the emotions that I was going through the book. I was like, girl, just accept the help, but she wouldn't. She's too stubborn. The book that I'm starting today is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. So I'm reading this for a week, and this will literally just be 50 pages a day. It's only 300 pages, not as chunky as Akamath, but I'm going to read it alongside Akamath so that I can read another book in a week and then also try and finish that as well, because I'm a bit behind. But I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. That's another thing that I want to not do, is not put pressure on myself to read every single day. I'm just putting too much pressure. I'm not having time to do anything else but just read. So props to the girlies that can read a lot in like a short amount of time, because I am a slow reader. Like, if you follow me on TikTok, Angel No Halo, I've made a little get to know me video, basically saying that I'm a slow reader, and I am a slow reader. I like enjoying the book and processing what's happening so that I can understand and like, you know a lot about it, so I can make a good review and so that I can have good thoughts on it as well. Basically targeting the people who read the books, and a lot of people on TikTok are making videos about their thoughts. As I'm talking about the Dream Harbour series, I want to just put my 2 cents in as well. I think, like I said, read what you want. You know, like if this is a book that's being sold at your bookstore and it's a spicy book and you think, oh, okay, it's a spicy book. I read spicy books. I'm gonna give it a go. No one's judging me for it. You know what I mean? Like, read what you want. You're allowed to read them. No matter what anybody says, even if a big massive content creator is like, I hate spicy books and you shouldn't read them. Read what you want. Read what you want. If it makes you happy, read it. If it doesn't make you happy though, put it down. Put the book down. We already had those thoughts through Fathom Book. I didn't personally enjoy it. If you enjoyed it, great. It's something we can talk about. Everybody's different, but you know, if you want to read spicy books, like I read spicy books, read spicy books. You know, just do it. Don't let certain creators make you feel bad for reading things that you like reading. Okay, so they basically said something along the lines of, if your bookshelf is full of smut books, I'm gonna keep it quite generic. If your bookshelf is full of smut books, you need to come up for some air, go touch some grass. Why are you judging other people on what they read? There's a difference between discussing a book, reviewing it, and being horrible. On the one side, you're talking about your opinions on the book, other people's opinions on the book, but you're not being horrible to their opinions. It's a discussion. You know, you're saying your thoughts, they're saying their thoughts, and you talk about it. You don't say things like, you should go touch some grass because the things that you're reading are awful. If I turned around and said, enemies to lovers is a disgusting trope, whoever reads it should not read books and is awful and a terrible person. You can't say that. Like, that's just horrible. Like, everyone's, you know, there's so many books in the world, and some books are great, some books are not great, but in the end, it's all down to personal preference and it's all down to the individual's opinion. Some people might really, really hate the pumpkin spice cafe because of the hallmark and the spice, or, you know, any of the different tropes that might be that are in the pumpkin spice cafe. People might absolutely hate it. People might absolutely turn around and go, it's not for me at all. And I would turn around and be like, that's absolutely fine. And if I love those books, that person's not going to turn around to me and go, you shouldn't like those books because it has spice in it, or you shouldn't like those books because of this certain trope. No. The book talk community is primarily female. A lot of us are women making, you know, videos and TikToks on books. Why are we at each other's throats? Why can't we just support each other? Why can't we just, you know, if you like a book and someone else doesn't, it's a decent human thing to do, to just be like, okay, great, what did you like about that book? And then the other person go, well, what didn't you like about it? Oh, I can kind of see where you're coming from, yeah. It's communication, it's talking, it's not just insult. Not saying go touch some grass, like, don't think you can really say that. The content creator did have a response to that video, since they've obviously taken it down. They've said as well that they wanted to throw a few jokes in there, and they kind of missed the point in their apology video with the whole thing. Basically they mentioned things like they shouldn't have made a video on the actual books themselves, like the books were the problem, but it wasn't the books, it was saying to the people targeting the people who read those books to go touch some grass and insulting them. That was what the apology video should have been. So I think you kind of missed what people are angry about. Moral of today's video, obviously we were talking about Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Dream Harbour series, but moral of the story, if you like something and you like a particular series, whether it has spice in it or not, you are entitled to love that series. Nobody's going to judge you, but there are some people who will judge you. There are some people who will be on the internet and say, wow, you shouldn't read those books, you need to get some air. Just ignore them. Don't bother with people like that. Don't invite that negativity into your life. You need to have a positive environment, and that starts with following creators who are a bit more open-minded and a bit more nice, I guess. Just surround yourself with positivity. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.